I know, guys, I know you've been asking for a house update, and I apologize, but at the same time, too, you guys just had to wait because life happened. So we pretty much finished the upstairs, quickly moved in, and then hit the ground running and our seeding and all the stuff that needed to be done, farm work all summer long. I haven't really worked on the house that much, although there was a moment there that I was like, okay, I'm going to paint the downstairs. And so I painted the downstairs, and we got the kids moved in a little bit downstairs as well. So each boy has their own room, and it's been chaotic. But here's the thing. I'm going to show you guys what I did in the utility room. I finally got the last piece that I needed for my radiant floor heat system. Oh, hi, Howie. How you doing, puppy? Well, he's getting big, isn't he? And he is a sweetheart. Aren't you just a little sweetie? Oh, he is a good little puppy. Yep. But anyways, let's go downstairs and I'll show you what I got going on. Now we got to be a little bit quieter because my son Raleigh is sleeping, and you don't want to take nap time away. Oh, and by the way, we're gonna get a pad of concrete poured here, so that's what's going on there. But we did get some concrete steps. That's nice. So anyways, let's head downstairs. Here's my creation room. So basically what I got going on in here, shut the door so it can be a little bit louder. Perfect. The hearts of the house. And I've spent a lot of time in here, and everything inside here I have done except for I had the HVAC guy come out here, Peter, and he helped put this in and get that all taken care of. But all the plumbing, everything was done by me. So this is my potable water. I've got my tankless heater right here. Then I have a recirculation. When I finally get things squared away, I'll have that be able to circulate hot water each bathroom. I've got my manifold for every single room in the house. There's a chair right there. I'll move it out of the way. And then, of course, there's a hot and then there's cold manifold. Here's my water softener, my pump right here, and then, of course, my pressure tanks. And then I've got a sump pump down there, a grinder pump right there for the bathroom that's in the basement here, but I still have to take care of that. And then this is what I've been working on, my radiant floor heat system. Now, I've never done one of these, never done one. I've done a lot of research, and I finally think I've got it figured out. So as of right now, I've got 10 PSI sitting in that gauge right there. So I pressurized the system. There was a few leaks that I had, a couple that I had to re-sweat. Didn't quite do a great enough job of sweating. And what I mean by sweating is the copper and the solder that is right here between each joint. When you heat it up and you solder it, you sweat it. That's the idea of it. Now, granted, plumbers out there are going to probably tell me I did it wrong, said it wrong, whatever. You know what? If it holds, I'm good. And then basically this is 2 zones. Now, what I mean by zones is the garage is 1 zone. So that's all 1 unit. And then the basement is 1 zone. So right here, I have a manifold going to the garage. That is 3 runs. And I can adjust that manifold, so if one is getting more water than the other, I can adjust it and equal out the pressure. Then I have zones down here for the basement, and then it can heat the basement and so forth. And same thing, I can adjust that as needed. Now here's what's nice. Because I've got 2 pumps, here's 1 pump here, 1 pump here, they each control a zone. I've got 2 thermostats, 1 for the garage and 1 for the basement. Now, I didn't want to put the thermostat in the garage because if somebody goes in there and tampers with it, it's going to take a while for the slab to get hot. So this thing might be running for a day, and then by the time you go in there, you're like, oh my gosh, it's 80 degrees. Why did somebody tamper with it? Well, it's going to be hot for a long time until it cools down. So I thought if I put it down here, that way nobody touches it. And I think that'd be a smart move. This here controls my zones. So basically when a thermostat kicks on, it sends power to this, which then will send power to this pump or this pump. And then it also sends power to my boiler. And then that way it tells the boiler to kick on and so forth. So it's kind of a crazy little concoction, but all the research that I've done, I was like, man, I got to do this right. And it costs a lot of money. I'll be honest, it's not cheap. But the end result, I think, is going to be awesome. Now, you're probably wondering, like, how many valves do I have on this thing? Well, let's just count this real quick. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have 15 valves on here. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Reason for that is if something ever happens, let's just say a line blows in the garage, and I need to isolate and turn that line off, I can either shut these valves here, or I can manually turn these valves off. Oh, that's right, that's more valves. Yeah, these ones. Anyways, there's a lot of valves. Is it overkill? Probably yes. But if I ever have to fix something, I can shut things down. Like if I ever had to remove this and change it out with a different one, I have the ability to shut it off, and then I've got unions in here, so I can take them off and re-sweat the right connections to the next boiler. So I've tried to think ahead when this thing fails, and if I can't get parts for it, how easy is it going to be to change this out. Now up here, I still have the intake I'm working on. I need to finish putting that on for the suction, but for the most part, I think I got this down to a science. Does that make sense? It's a lot to think about, right? Now you're probably wondering, what kind of fluid am I using? Well, it's glycol. The reason why I'm using glycol and not water is in case of some reason the power goes out, gas gets frozen up or something crazy. I don't want the water to be frozen in the concrete and crack and break lines. So I'm using glycol to protect the system. Negative thing about glycol, basically antifreeze is what it is it doesn't transfer heat very well. So water would be better to transfer heat than the glycol. So there's going to be a little bit of a inefficient deal about that, but I got to do it because we live in a cold climate and safety first, and I don't want to screw something up here. So anyways, I think let's go ahead and get busy with this. So I just put a plastic plug in here just so I could pressurize the system and find leaks. Alright, so now I've got to go get some fluid and start pumping it in. Now you're probably wondering, how am I going to pump it in the system? Take a hose, like a dishwasher hose, put one hose in here, so let's go ahead. So then I can start adding fluid to the system. Now I went to grab a really cheap pump because I'm only going to use it like very few times. It even came with a hose, perfect. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I start thinking about it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to charge the manifolds first, but I'm going to close them all off except for one run. So I'm going to do one run, circulate the fluid, try to get as much air bubbles out as I can, shut that down, then move to the next one and just keep going through the whole entire manifold on this to make sure that all the air is out of it. Then the next thing I'm going to do is go up here to this one, do the same thing to that. Then I'll do the main system and circulate as much fluid as I can. Now, once I get that done, then what I'll do is after I get all the air out of it, I'll kick these pumps on and just let them run. That way they can circulate and then get the air out, and hopefully air will build up here and I'll just keep purging the system. So anyways, I think I'm pretty good. Whew, nerve-wracking because I don't want to screw this up. So let's see what I can do. Hopefully I don't make a mess. Now I'm just going to go check just to make sure. I'm always nervous about the first time doing this, but okay, no puddle, good. I have my runs from my garage running through here, and I had to crimp new ends on there with the PEX crimp type, and I started thinking, I was like, I'm running a bunch of fluid through this. Is it just pumping it out in my basement? I hope not. But no, it seems to be going, so let's just keep going on it. I'm gonna need some more fluid. It's gonna take a lot. just starting to. Maybe this pump doesn't have enough to do it. I don't know. Well, this is going to be a very slow process. I basically, depending on which run I have, there's like the first run over here was a shorter run, so I only used maybe 5 gallons of fluid because that was the last part of the house that they put the radiated floor heat tubing in. So there probably is a shorter run on that side. They should be about 300 feet roughly, of 5/8 is what's in the floor. And since there's 6 runs in the basement floor, that's quite a bit of fluid. So if you think about it, if that was about 5 gallons roughly, I've been taking about 6 to 7 gallons for the rest of the runs. Well, that's a lot of gallons. Been using a lot of it. But right now what I've got going on is I put fluid, all the fluid is in each one of the runs. Now I'm just letting it circulate and grabbing the air bubbles and popping them out and boiling them, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, you get the idea, it's foaming. So I'm just letting it circulate. So now I was thinking about how I want to do the top manifold. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to feed the fluid into the bottom manifold because I'm going into the cold side, which isn't the way the fluid's going to circulate in the system, but I just decided to do the cold side first. So I'm going to force the fluid in the bottom of this rail with all the valves shut off. Then it's going to go up through the pipe to the top one. So then it'll feed all of those runs right there. Then I'll take the tube, which is the return right here, and screw it onto the top red valve up there. So then that way it'll circulate and drop it back into the bucket. So once I get that purged, I guess you could say, and fluids in the system, then the last thing is to do all of the tubing in the boiler and then my pressure tank and all that kind of stuff. But I've used quite a bit of fluid. Out of a 55-gallon drum, I probably have used a good 5 gallons, if that, about 35 gallons, yeah, somewhere in there. So yeah, long process. Like I said, I've never done this before, but I'm pretty confident it's going to be a success. A lot of work. Okay, not seeing a tremendous amount of bubbles in this one right now, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to shut down this one and open the next one. Now I left the top ones all open, and the reason for, in my thinking, is the air is going to rise to the top since I'm doing the basement slab. This is the top manifold, so if I leave those open, hopefully the air will get sucked out when it's doing each run. So anyways, I'll just shut the bottom ones off as needed and open each one and let it circulate. And it's popping out quite a few bubbles. Pretty nifty. Now here's why I went with copper pipe and brass fittings, is because I didn't want to have any PEX tubing inside here where it might get compromised and break. I wanted to be able to have solid metal in this area that once it's done, it should be done forever. Now I went with stainless steel manifolds because I thought, you know what, stainless steel manifolds would probably be the better fit. I could have went with brass, but I didn't like the valve setup on them. These ones here you can adjust to what you need to, and I thought, you know, I better go with that. So I spent a little bit more money on those, but so far I think it's going to work out pretty good. We will see. But I'm excited to have the basement heated and the garage heated at different temperatures. So when I want to, I'll just set those thermometers and thermostats I should say, to whatever I want. Now here's the thing about the thermostats. I put a sensor into the concrete right here. So I drilled a hole, put it in slab sensor for that thermostat. And the other one, I thought maybe it'll change the continuity, like the ohms going through the line if I add extra line to go all the way to the garage. So I did a run with it wired up, had the two sensors side by side, and it is only like half a degree off. So I'm like, you know, that's not much to worry about. So then I just lengthened that sensor, drilled a hole up in the garage, I put that in there, put some silicone in there so junk and stuff don't get in there. And so far, which is interesting. The garage is actually 67 degrees on the slab, and then the basement here is actually 64 degrees. But the room temperature is almost the same, 70 degrees in the garage, well 70.5, and then 70.1 down here, so that's pretty sweet. So far I'm very, very, very happy with this setup in here. And then the other thing I did, security system. Now, one thing I did is if I'm gone, or if I hear something out of the ordinary, I actually put a camera up here inside so I can see in my app all of my water system right here for my potable water, and then I can see my radiant floor heat. So if some reason something happened, like my sump backed up and it was raised in the water, and I've got little sensors on the floor, if they sense water, they'll freak out. So if I hear something, I'll look on the camera and see what's going on. Or if I'm away, I'm wondering what's going on, I'll look on the camera and see what's going on. And so that's kind of a peace of mind for me. But yeah, I'm trying to think it through, so hopefully in the future I have little problems, but there's a lot going on in here. Like a lot. But that's also what's going on up here. There's quite a bit going on. A little too much at times. That's why I got the gray hair. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, working out pretty sweet. Making progress. Okay. Let's purge the main system now. Boiler. Okay, watch this. Is that cool? Don't touch anything. It's all sticky.
How did you make that?
I didn't make it, I bought it. I'm putting it inside this whole system. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. Maybe we need something go there and then it goes back there.
Maybe.
But how does it go like that? Oh,
So I got a little helper here. Hi, Raleigh. Isn't he awesome? He's like the best little helper. So anyways, I ran enough fluid through the boiler and everything, and just letting it circulate. And then I'm adding a little bit of pressure with the pump.
I see that. Let me see. Let me see that. Let me see up here.
And so then, as it's circulating, I can take the
Let me see that.
little valve here and burp the air that accumulates from this unit. What you doing, buddy?
Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Whoa. That was cool. That
Be
was,
careful.
that was huge. Where is it?
Yeah, so far things are working pretty good.
Okay.
This thing's making funny noises, but that's understandable. And I gotta go through and
Source?
program that.
That source? That
What?
source?
Yeah, this is mine,
Okay.
but they aren't. But this camera is mine, but those people aren't, right?
You. Okay. 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 Okay.
He's so cute. So yeah, pretty sweet so far.
Okay. I need to use this and
So by rights, I shouldn't hear any gurgling through, let's not put that there. Any gurgling through the pipes, and I can hear that, which means air is in the system, which is understandable. You gotta try to get all the air out. That's why just letting the system run for a while is a good idea.
okay. Let's work.
No leaks so far. I like it. I like it a lot. So far things seem to be going well, and he's causing trouble.
What's this? What's this?
Something.
Okay.
I'm happy.
Okay.
I'm so happy about this.
Okay.
Lost a lot of sleep over this system.
Okay.
Now I'm not going to run it tonight because I don't want any surprises in the morning in case there's a leak that springs out. But yeah, leave that alone, bud. But So far it's looking good. Awesome. Oh, this is pretty sweet. We're getting some rain out here. Love it. Oh, that's a good feeling. Good feeling to have some rain. I just got done working out downstairs. I got a little mini gym that's kind of being set up. I start hearing little pitter patter, and started raining a little bit. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I took a shower, and then it came out, and it's actually raining pretty good, and there's puddles. Love it. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, I haven't ignored you. Hi, Howie. Hi, Howie. Hi, Howie. Are you just so excited? You are just too excited. Are you just too excited? Whoa, be careful. You want to just say hi? Say hi. No, lick. Lick. Good boy. All right, go eat your food. I'm going to go get some breakfast and coffee. Oh, yeah. And guess what? I am painting my garage. Now, I primed it late last night. Took a while to mask off the doors. Oh, man, did it take forever to mask those things off. And a buddy of mine said, hey, I heard of a guy taking aluminum foil and using that to wrap your rails on your garage doors. So all of that's aluminum foil, which is actually really a brilliant idea. You just crinkle it all around on there and it keeps the paint off. And then when you're done, you can just rip it off. Like you got these springs that, yeah, that's a lot of masking if you didn't have to do it. So the aluminum foil is quick, easy to remove, and it's a nice feature. So that being said on that, yeah, it's all primed, ready for paint. And I think it's about time for me to paint because it's been about 6 months we've been living in this house. We have not been parking our cars in the garage because it's been cluttered with stuff everywhere. And I also wanted to get this painted and get that done because it seems like garages are always the last thing that people focus on, and 15, 20 years later they decide to paint it. It still had the sheetrock and mud. I don't want to do that. I made it to 6 months. I'm doing decent, so I think I'm ready to paint. Let's get at it. And just like that, it is painted. It's done. A little frosty in here, but that's okay. I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit, let it kind of settle. Then I'm gonna start opening a couple windows and letting it breathe in here because there's a lot of humidity. And then I'll clean up my mess. I'm so glad I'm done painting. I do not enjoy painting. Good morning. Guess what? Today we're getting concrete for my house, which I'm actually really, really excited about because we spent all this money on a garage and we cannot get in the garage because we have all of this rebar and stuff in the way. And winter's pretty much here. Yeah, I know. So what we decided to do is we're going to pour the end one, that one, and then leave the other two. And then the next day we'll pour the other two. So it'll be in 2 pours pretty much. And the reason why is because this is such a big slab, we didn't want cracking, and we decided to have stress cracks in the middle. Get what I'm saying? Oh, hi, Howie. Hi, buddy. Hi. Are you excited? Yeah, we're going to chain you up so you don't get any paw prints in that nice, beautiful concrete. Yeah. But anyways, concrete's going to show up about 9:30, and at least that's the plan. Hopefully it goes to plan. Oh, it's going to be so nice to be able to park our vehicles in the garage. I have not had that luxury for 17 years. And we're getting it. So I'm really, really excited about that. But anyways, stay tuned. It's going to be fun. such a good feeling having concrete here. But I want to show you something that's really, really awesome. Kind of warms my heart a little bit because this is a memory that we're going to have. In 2023, we moved into this house, and our kids made some memories. I appreciate it, guys. Appreciate you watching. And I'm going to go spend some time with my family and relax because it's a Friday night. And you guys take it easy. And God bless.